Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. Empress Dowager Cixi is a figure well known to most people, as she is one of the most influential women in Chinese history. She once governed behind a curtain, held power 3 times, and effectively controlled the Qing dynasty for 47 years. Empress Dowager Cixi was the de facto ruler during the reigns of Emperor Tongzhi and Emperor Guangxu. Historians have different views on her role in modern Chinese history. At the same time, she is also a key figure in many modern literary, theatrical, and film works, making her a popular topic. According to some historians, Empress Dowager Cixi's rise to power was closely linked to her son, Emperor Tongzhi. In 1861, when Emperor Qianlong passed away in Chengde, Emperor Tongzhi ascended the throne at the tender age of 6. Both Cixi and Empress Dowager Cixi were honored as Empress Dowagers. Later, Cixi, in alliance with Prince Gong, managed to eliminate the regents appointed by Emperor Qianlong, taking control of real power and beginning to enjoy her luxurious life. While Empress Dowager Cixi was still alive, Cixi's lavish lifestyle was already quite conspicuous. But she was still cautious and did not indulge excessively. However, after Cixi's death, Cixi's lifestyle became even more extravagant, and her eating habits became a topic of much discussion in the palace. The Qing dynasty's harem had strict hierarchies, and the concubines were required to adhere to different standards of food. As Empress Dowager, Cixi's meal standards were particularly high, with her daily food expenses reaching as much as 100 taels of silver. Yet, Cixi felt that such expenditures were still not enough to satisfy her needs, and thus she was very meticulous in selecting her meals, with an unmatched level of refinement. Princess Jiaqing, a late Qing princess, wrote a book called the Imperial Incense Chronicles, which detailed Empress Dowager Cixi's daily life, including her eating habits. These historical records provide a better understanding of Cixi's lifestyle and how she tightly combined luxury with power. It is said that Empress Dowager Cixi did not have a fixed dining place, but whenever she dined, 3 large tables would be set up, each covered with white cloth. Eunuchs would bring yellow food boxes into the courtyard, each containing 2 large bowls and 4 small ones, with yellow bottoms often decorated with green dragons or the character for longevity. Every meal featured as many as 108 dishes, neatly arranged with large bowls and small dishes alternating. There were also 2 side tables with fruit plates, containing sugar lotus seeds, melon seeds, walnuts, and other dried and fresh fruits, to be eaten casually after the meal. During tea time, honeysuckle was often added to the tea. The dishes mainly consisted of pork, mutton, chicken, duck, and wild vegetables. Meatballs came in red and white varieties, while other dishes included clear soup with shark's fin, steamed chicken and duck, and braised chicken and duck. Common dishes included egg pancakes, fragrant meats, braised cabbage with meat, braised radishes with meat, cherry braised meat, onion braised meat slices, and stir-fried bamboo shoots with shredded meat. Cixi especially loved barbecued foods, sauces, and grain-based dishes. Breads such as baked cakes, steamed cakes, pepper salt cakes, sweet cakes, and meat-filled pies were common. The food was often shaped like dragons, butterflies, or flowers. In addition to regular meals, Cixi often ate porridge, such as millet porridge, mung bean cakes, and peanut cakes, which were her favorite desserts. The rice she ate came from rare varieties such as Yutian rice, blush rice, and Beijing rice. Moreover, the imperial chefs were meticulous in preparing each dish, with even simple watermelon rind specially treated to enhance its taste, supposedly using a unique method of preparation. In her later years, Cixi often ate large pears soaked in honey to soothe her throat, and some of these pears were also given to noble officials. The water she drank came from Jiaqing, renowned for its purity. Cixi had 2 main meals and 2 snacks each day. The main meals had to include 108 dishes, while the snacks, although fewer, still had 40 to 50 dishes. To maintain the temperature of the food, a special kitchen was set up in the Shoshio Palace. And over 400 chefs were assigned to serve her. Despite the large number of dishes, Cixi could not finish all the food. According to palace rules, the emperor was only allowed to eat 3 bites of each dish, in order to prevent poisoning through food. Although Cixi was not an emperor, her treatment was nearly identical to that of the emperor, and in some ways, even superior. When eating, Cixi would take only 1 bite of each dish. Especially in her later years, when she couldn't chew some dishes, she would just taste them by licking them a couple of times. Then break the food with a toothpick and insert it back into the remaining dish. What was the purpose of this? According to some historians, this practice was to prevent the eunuchs and palace maids from sneaking food from her leftovers. As the supreme ruler of the Qing dynasty, Cixi's treatment was naturally the best. The dishes she didn't finish could be coveted by eunuchs and palace maids, who might never have the opportunity to eat such delicacies. Therefore, after every meal, her leftovers would spark fierce competition among the eunuchs and maids. At first, Empress Dowager Cixi did not know that her palace servants were taking the opportunity to eat her leftover food. It wasn't until she noticed that some eunuchs and palace maids had better complexions and appeared more rosy-faced that she began to investigate. She soon found out that some of the eunuchs and maids had been secretly eating her leftovers. This made Cixi extremely angry. She believed that no one, under any circumstances, could touch her leftover food without her permission, even if it meant throwing it away. It was not to be given to anyone else. To punish those who stole her leftovers, Cixi devised a clever plan. After every meal, she would have the servants leave the room, and she would begin breaking the toothpicks one by one, inserting them into the remaining food. This way, if anyone dared to steal her leftovers, the toothpicks would prick their mouth or body, potentially causing bleeding. If a eunuch or palace maid accidentally swallowed a toothpick, they could suffer an injury from it puncturing their intestines. Furthermore, due to Cixi's immense power, the eunuchs and maids dared not seek medical treatment, for any strange occurrence would immediately be reported back to Cixi, revealing who had stolen her leftovers. The toothpick piercing the mouth would cause intense pain. But if Cixi discovered the theft, the consequences would be even more severe. Apart from preventing eunuchs and maids from stealing leftovers, Cixi's use of toothpicks had a deeper meaning. Through this method, she not only maintained her dignity and authority, but also reminded the eunuchs and maids of their place, preventing them from overstepping their bounds. In addition, Empress Dowager Cixi's daily meals consisted of 108 dishes. With only a bite taken from each, the rest usually left untouched. However, she was extremely cautious about how the leftovers were handled, fearing that the Imperial chefs might use them to serve her again. To ensure that every dish met her standards, she secretly inserted toothpicks into the leftovers. This way, if any chef dared to reuse the leftovers, she would be able to detect it through the toothpicks. Once, Cixi discovered a broken toothpick in a block of tofu, and she was immediately furious. The eunuch who had delivered the food was given 50 strokes of the cane, and the chef was executed. Some concerned friends might ask, what happened to the valuable leftover food that Empress Dowager Cixi refused to eat and forbade anyone else from touching? She ordered the leftovers to be placed in specific containers and immediately buried or burned, sometimes mixed with waste, ensuring that no one could eat them. Despite the fact that ordinary people outside the capital were starving and struggling every day, Empress Dowager Cixi never showed concern for their suffering. Her focus was always on ensuring that no one dared to touch her leftovers. During a national crisis, she ignored the hardships of the people and continued celebrating her 60th birthday, even diverting a large sum of money from the Beiyang fleet to fund the construction of the Summer Palace. According to Liang Qichao in Collected Works of the Drinkai Studio, the Qing dynasty had prepared 30 million taels of silver for naval development. However, after the Summer Palace project began, this money was entirely redirected to the construction costs. Wang Shihe's Daily Records of Building the Taoist Cottage also mentions that Cixi, for her own enjoyment, did not hesitate to use vast national resources. Some historians have commented that Empress Dowager Cixi's actions revealed her extreme selfishness. She never cared about the life and death of the common people. And even in times of national turmoil and crisis, she prioritized her own pleasures. How could such a ruler not be despised by history? This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.